It's 7:30. We will call the meeting to order. Can I get a motion, please, that the agenda for the May 15, 2018 regular meeting of council be adopted as presented? Councillor Sorensen makes that motion.
Mayor Sahara, may I just remind you, administration's requesting the addition of a sundry. That's right, sundry in-camera item. It is a third-party financial piece.
So with the addition of M4 third-party financial matter, would you make that as a friendly amendment? Okay, Councillor Sorensen makes that motion. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Moving on, can I get a motion, please, that the minutes of the May 1st, 2018 regular meeting of council be adopted as presented?
So moved.
Councillor Chouinard makes that motion. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. We have no public hearings, delegations, or reading of bylaws. Moving on to reports from administration. Can I get a motion, please, that council direct administration to present a plan for a fall demolition of the Edson District Recreation Complex to Yellowhead County for their consideration?
I'll make it so.
Councillor Bevan makes that motion, and I will ask CEO Derricott to speak to this matter.
You bet. Thank you. I don't have a lot to add. This is something I think we've talked lots about in many different ways. Upon completion of the RFP process, with the golf club being the only proponent who came forward, and in discussions with them, it became clear that they didn't have a lot of long-term interest in operation of the facility. Also had conversations with our partners at Yellowhead County, and that they are open to this concept. It is just recommended that it's time to probably make a determination on what the future of that facility is.
Okay, and further to that, we have had discussions with the golf club. Obviously, their main concern has been that they are able to build a clubhouse in the future that suits their needs. The building is far too large for their operation. We've also had discussions with the curling club to bring them to this understanding as well that we're in a position with a building that is starting to really cost us a lot of money and a lot of effort, and in order to move forward, I think this is probably the best way forward with us looking at a new multi-use facility within our community. So certainly I think it's wise that we engage Yellowhead County to see how they feel about this for the long-term benefit for our community. I know there's going to be some short-term pain, especially for our curling club, but we do have facilities nearby that can support their needs for the interim. I don't know if any members of council would like to comment. Councillor Chouinard.
Yes, on this thing, I believe to move forward is something we've tossed around for a while. There was, and we've gone through all the channels. The golf course is the only one that expressed interest. And with the building, myself personally, as well as probably most council, we believe there's no use spending money on it, so I believe this is the right thing to do. We need to virtually put this building to sleep, so in a matter of speaking, so we can move forward, because it's costing us money, and I believe it's the right thing to do. Let's end this building so we can move forward with a brand new one.
Councillor Bevan?
Yeah, I'd like to echo the same thing. I'd hate for us to say that we're going to have a curling coming up this season, and all of a sudden the ice plant goes down. We've got all these people curling, and then they got no place to go. And I know we're not prepared to spend $300,000 or $400,000 to put a new ice plant in there when it's going to be eventually torn down anyway. So I'd rather that we look at this now and not later, and that the people that want to curl, they get a chance to get into a curling league, whether it's in Piers or Robb or someplace like that, and that they have a place to go to.
Okay, any other comments, questions, or concerns? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion, please, that council direct administration to engage in the process of repairing the Tiffin area booster station with an allocated budget amount of $350,000 to come from unrestricted surplus?
I'll make that motion.
Councillor Wilkinson makes that motion. Maybe CEO Derricott, you'd like to speak to that.
Thank you. This is further to the discussion at Committee of the Whole meeting, and direction received from council that they preferred to see a repair done to the Tiffin booster station. This is in the context of other water-related projects that are on the docket, and that I think council was pretty clear that they understand and appreciate those challenges and expect that they will continue to be brought forward by administration for consideration, but that the fix of the Tiffin booster station was a priority.
Okay, Councillor Chouinard.
Okay, I'm actually pleased we are moving forward with this. I believe the people of that area have been very patient. I mean, they haven't been very vocal, but I mean, if we're not moving ahead, but it's something we told them we would, it's springtime, so I'm pleased that we are moving forward for that area. It was a long time coming, but I'm pleased that we're now moving ahead and repairing it.
All right, any other further questions, comments, or concerns? Councillor
Through the chair
Devlin?
to Mike here. When we do this repair, we're gonna just go with 2 pumps in here, not the 6 pumps like we had before, which was way overuse.
Yeah, thank you. There will be a design augmentation. I don't believe the very specifics of that have been, but there will be an alternating 2-pump system at minimum to support the system.
Okay.
All right, any other comments, questions, or concerns? I think most of this work has to do with underground moving of the pipe, not necessarily the pumps as well. I actually talked to a resident of Tiffin today asking what's happening with this, and they're very pleased that we're going to move forward. Obviously, this has impacted individual properties differently depending where you live, so I'm glad that we're going to move forward with this, and hopefully the folks in Tiffin will have restored pressure very soon. So, hearing no other further questions, all those in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion, please, that council direct administration to offer a 1-year non-prime ice rental rate of $75 per hour to the Edson Arrows junior hockey team?
Make it so.
Councillor Bevan makes that motion. We'll ask CEO Derricotte to speak to this matter.
Yeah, thank you. Again, this is in reference to an item discussed at the committee where council heard from Mr. Axman with the Edson Arrows and requested consideration of some relaxing of the rates in particular for non-prime ice rentals, and administration is recommending that council consider this 1-year offer to support the team as they come to our community and get up and running to try and alleviate some of that pressure.
Okay, thank you, CEO Derricotte. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Councillor Chouinard and then Councillor Wilkinson.
I'm pleased that we are helping them. It's like I stated before, like we don't want to set an actual precedent on this, but I know there was an offer made by the team that I thought was a very good offer for one time. So we are offering you something, but the offer you gave to us made a lot of sense. The training, the hockey players out there. So I guess we are giving you something. We have to be careful for setting precedents, is one thing.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Chouinard. Councillor Wilkinson.
To our CIO through the chair, can you just reiterate what was the normal rate? What's our reduction?
Thank you. The regular rate was $105 per hour.
All right, so, thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments, or concerns? Councillor Sorensen.
Yeah, through the chair. I'm in support of this motion. I am excited to hear that the team is offering volunteer support throughout the community, and I look forward to seeing them active in the community. And I think this is a great give and take on our part, so I'm in full support. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Just to wrap up here, I know this is, Councillor Curry. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
Through the chair to Mr. Derricotte, was this with conversation with the team about the volunteering and the new rate? Did that happen?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, we didn't. We just based this on the conversation that council had and tried to reflect what we felt was the result of that conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Chouinard.
Okay, so what I'm hearing, we, the administration did not have a conversation with the hockey club, I guess we're going to call you?
Yeah, no, thank you. Yes, no, we didn't. We did not have a follow-up conversation following their presentation to council.
Councillor Wilkinson.
Through the chair to you, you did find out it was only 54 hours that the school division used the ice, so it wasn't a huge chunk of time.
Yeah, it was just over 50 hours.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? I think this is a way to support the team further. Obviously, we're offering a dressing room. We're also offering some office space. And Councillor Sorensen. And I think this team is going to be a huge benefit for our community. Obviously, we already subsidize that facility quite highly. We also have partners in Yellowwood County that we have to work with, and we have to make decisions that are good for the community as a whole. I think this will certainly help Mr. Axman. Maybe not all that he wanted, but in the Edson Arrows hockey team, so I certainly support this motion as well. And I encourage people to get their season tickets to support this team. I think it's going to be good, and I think the mentorship that the members of this team will provide our youth is going to be absolutely fantastic. So, all right, hearing no further questions, comments, or concerns, all those in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion, please, that Council join AUMA's campaign to modernize Alberta's recycling regulatory framework and direct administration to send the attached letter to MLA Rosendahl as presented? Councillor Beyer makes that motion. All right. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I think we discussed this at length at committee, so Councillor Wilkinson?
I just think this is long overdue, that the government really does have to step up and play their part in the recycling program rather than expecting the operators to do things at a near loss.
Yeah. Councillor Bellin?
Are other councils doing the same thing, do you know?
Yes, I do know that a number of councils are sending letters in support. This is going to be an AUMA advocacy campaign, so other councils are certainly on board with this.
Good.
Councillor Chouinard.
I'm just questioning the fact if I should vote on this or not, because it's...
honestly, Councillor Chouinard, I think you're fine to do this. So this is not really going to impact.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, just if I can add to that, I think any adjustment to any policy would affect all operators the same, and so I don't think you have any concern there.
Asking.
Okay, any further questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion, please, that council rescind the following policies as they are obsolete? Policy HS1, Joint Health and Safety Committee. Policy HS2, Safety Footwear. Policy HS4, Hazard Identification, Assessment, and Control. Councillor Beyer makes that motion. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Once again, we've talked about this at length at committee. Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion, please, that council set the summer meeting schedule for the council and committee of the whole meetings as follows. Committee of the whole, July 10th, 2018. Council meeting, July 17th, 2018. Committee of the whole meeting, August 14th. And council meeting, August 21st. Councillor Curry makes that motion. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Councillor Wilkinson.
Well, I'd like to speak to it. When I look at it, they're just squished up together. And why not stretch it out over the summer more? Like, you've got it just a week apart in July, and same thing in August. Say the 1st and the 3rd, or 2nd and 4th, something. These are just 7 days apart.
CEO Derricott, any comments on that?
Yeah, I don't think honestly that there's a huge thought there. I know in July we didn't want to back up against the long weekend for Canada Day, so we pushed that back. Honestly, administration's pretty open to that. I think the thought was keeping them closer together meant less overall time that you would have to be considerate of, but quite frankly, administration's pretty neutral on whether or not there's an extra week between the meetings or not.
I just think
Councillor Chouinard?
I also spoke against them, but I guess what it is, it's easy to cancel a meeting. It's harder to set one. So, I mean, if we have them and there's no need for them, because usually in the summertime, we'll have 2 council meetings. So if we don't need committee of the whole, it's pretty easy to cancel because it is summer schedule for councillors and staff and et cetera. So I guess we can always cancel them if we don't need them.
Okay, any other further comments, questions, or concerns? Councillor Sorensen?
I'll speak in favor of the motion. I think it's a great compromise, and we get a combination of committee of the whole and council meetings. So I'm in favor of this schedule.
Any further questions, comments, concerns? I think I certainly understand Councillor Wilkinson's point, but I think one of the benefits of this is that if you want to go for a more extended vacation, I think you'll be able to do that. between those dates. There's not a lot usually going on during the summertime, and if anything urgent did come up, we could always call a special meeting too. So I'm in support of this, and I don't think fiddling with the dates is going to mean a whole heck of a lot in the grand scheme of things, but yeah. So hearing no other further questions, comments, or concerns, all those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carried. Can I get a motion, please, that council approve the cancellation of the regularly scheduled June 5th, 2018 council meeting due to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities FCM conference?
Make that motion.
Councillor Chouinard makes that motion. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
What if we
Councillor
don't go due to the airline possibility of having
We'll
a
have a
strike?
free day.
We'll have a free night.
Oh, just a free night?
A free
Okay,
night.
fine.
Think positively.
Yeah,
Think
okay.
positively.
Or we might be hitching rides still to have a free
Right,
night.
okay.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion, please, that council approve Councillor Troy Sorensen's attendance at the Recycling Council of Alberta's 2018 Waste Reduction Conference, rolling out the recycling red carpet from September 19th to 21st in Banff. Councillor Curry, are you making that motion or are you making a different motion?
That motion.
Okay. So that gets it on the floor. Thank you, Councillor Curry. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Councillor Chouinard.
I'd have to speak against that motion. I like the bottom motion that opened it up to everyone with all the discussion in our town. I believe all the council, excluding myself, should be able to go for, simply because that's what we're talking about right now. It'd be very worthwhile.
Okay, so any other questions, comments, concerns? Councillor Sorensen?
I'll just, I don't know what I'm speaking for, but I think the more councillors that can go to this conference, the better. It's a hot issue this year. The world is changing in terms of recycling, and Edson has some pretty lofty goals for it, so I think the more that can attend, the better.
Okay, Councillor Byer.
My comments are, I think if Councillor Sorensen attended and possibly the mayor, in my mind, I think that's enough to get the value out of the conference. I know that it is a hot topic, but we are spending taxpayers' dollars to go here, and I would put my full trust in them to bring a very detailed report back to give us any further instructions that if we need to head in a different direction, that would be sufficient for me.
Okay. Councillor Wilkinson.
Well, I'm unable to go, but I would really like to see everyone go that's able to go. I have gone to one of these before, and really, it's very, very valuable.
Councillor Bevan.
Yeah, I'm on the same page here. I'd like to open it up to all of council can go on that, because we all get questions on recycling every time we go up just about. So the more information we all have in this, I know we'll all bring back a report and look at it, but if we're informed even more, I think it goes a long ways for our residents and ourselves to be able to give them the information that they need.
All right, Councillor Snart, anything new you'd like to add?
I'm just saying we'll have to vote to defeat this motion, so I don't know if we can do a
Can't you
friendly.
amend it?
So we can either do a friendly amendment, or we could have more fun and defeat a motion and have somebody make a new motion.
Yeah.
So, Councillor Curry, would you like to make a friendly amendment to your
I'd like to
motion?
make a comment first.
Okay.
I haven't spoken yet.
Councillor Curry.
I would be on the same page as Councillor Byer. I think it would be great to have Councillor Sorensen there and possibly the mayor or one other people, but I do think that there is the fiscal responsibility, and we have a lot of hot topics, and we have a lot of hot topics coming up, and I think that I think a lot of the time that we can do our due diligence, and the people that are going can make sure they bring back a good report and keep us informed.
Mr. Chair, I also offer administration will be represented at this conference as well. I think myself and Mr. Barisco will be there also. So I think certainly there's plenty of opportunities for the town to access the information there and share it with the group. I just wanted that to be known for council as they continue this conversation.
All right, thank you. My comments on this. I don't think that we need to send all of council, and if that's the motion that's approved, I know that some councilors probably are going to stay back anyway, so probably maybe a moot point. But I do think that Councillor Sorensen, the alternate, and myself, I think that would be sufficient. But ultimately, it's council's choice. In order for us to do this in the probably simplest fashion, I would suggest that we vote on this motion, and then if it gets defeated, we'll have a councillor make a second motion. So all those in favor of this motion?
Does everyone understand the motion?
So
that's
the
on
motion
table?
reads that council approve Councillor Troy Sorensen's attendance to this conference. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carried. Or motion defeated, I should say. I'm just saying that. Can I get a new motion from somebody from the floor?
Make a new motion.
Councillor Wilkinson.
I'd like the council approve any councillor who wishes to attend the Recycling Council of Alberta 2018 Waste Reduction Conference, rolling out the recycling red carpet from September 19th to 21st in Banff.
All right. Thank you, Councillor Wilkinson. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carried. Democracy in action. Can I get a motion, please, that council approve the payment invoice number 184348 in the amount of $1,586.01, inclusive of GST, from RMRF LLP for legal services rendered with respect to general legal advice. Councillor Byer makes that motion. All those question, comments, concerns? Councillor Chouinard.
Yes, I noticed we're using a different law firm for some of our law work, and I guess my question is, have we had problems with the other one? And if so, and we're using a new one, that maybe we should ask for requests from several different law firms, because my feeling is the present law firm we've been using has been serving us quite greatly. So I guess the question is, have we been having trouble with them, and that's why we're seeking out other ones.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Chouinard. This is loosely related to this item, so I'll let it stand as a discussion item.
Thank you.
Mr. Derrick.
Yeah, no, this is in no way reflective of our good relationship with Brownlee, who we use for our regular advice. I had happened to have had an opportunity to work with this particular legal firm and a particular counsellor on a very similar legal issue with great success. And so because of the familiarity with the situation, we chose to work with that lawyer in this circumstance. So it was purely a circumstantial choice.
All right, Councillor Wilkinson.
I think this is loosely tied to it. I believe this is the one that we went to that hospitality room at one time. And then afterwards, we came back to council and we all said, no, let's stick with who we have, because this firm represents the county, right? And not that we're looking that we're going to have quarrel, but we thought we're just better off to stick to a firm without the connections.
Okay.
So I was just wondering, I guess, why we changed it or
Okay.
dealing with it now.
Councillor Bennett.
Yes, when we use this firm and that, can we get a little more information why we use them, then we wouldn't, have to be asking here at the chamber table and that. I mean, saying we use them for, like you said, a different one than what Brownlee could handle or whatever and that. Just a little more clarification on why we chose to use these guys.
Yeah, I think I certainly don't really have much else to add other than what I've already said. I've worked with them with great success on a similar matter, and felt that it would put the town in the best position to efficiently and effectively deal with that situation. So, yeah, but I don't anticipate that we are making any substantial changes. This was a fairly unique situation, and so it's not anticipated that it would at this point be anything more than this kind of one-off type of situation.
All right, thank you, CEO Derricott. Just my comment, I have faith that administration will use a law firm that they feel is most appropriate to represent the town interest. I think Brownlee's done a wonderful job for us. I have no concerns with them, but I also have no concerns with using this law firm either. Both provide remarkable services to municipalities across this province. So, in this particular matter, I think that probably put the town in the best position. So, any other further comments, questions, or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion. All those opposed?
No, we voted quickly, I guess. No,
Okay, so
I'm in favor.
I'm going to be very
I'm
clear
opposed.
here.
Okay.
My hand was down, I'm holding it.
I'm going to be very clear here. This is to approve an invoice for a
Okay.
matter that was already dealt with, and it would be highly unusual to vote against an invoice. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carried. We have no information items, no sundry items. We're going to move on to council reports. And I know that we have been kind of going a little longer in our council reports lately, so I just asked that everybody try to keep it as tight as possible. So we'll start with Councillor Wilkinson.
All right, May 5th, I went to the FCSS regional meeting. We're busy planning our regional meeting here, be held in Whitecourt this year on June 4th. And I met with GYPSD tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councillor Wilkinson. Councillor Bevan.
Okay, on the second, we had our steering committee meeting with the county, and then we had an invite to make Happy Days down there. It was really good. 6th, 7th, 8th, and that, I was invited to be at the Youth International Week and that. The 8th was a committee meeting. The 9th was a communication workshop, which we had here in Chamber, and I have to say it was very well done. The people that came out from Edmonton were very knowledgeable in that, gave us some good information and stuff like that. The Chamber, we had a quick meeting with the Chamber. They did sign the letter of support for the pipelines and that, along with other chambers throughout Alberta and that. One thing they're going to do is they're going to move the trade show to the last weekend in April, 26 and 27 for 2019. Summer Festival for them is July 11th, 12th, and 13th. And I believe we also had a presentation from the Arrows Hockey Club. And today we had a meeting with GYSPD. And that is my report.
All right, thank you, Councillor Bevan. Councillor Beyer.
On May 2nd, I attended the invite to the McHappy Days. May 3rd, the Community Engagement Action Team Needle Drive. And as well on the 3rd, the Yellowhead Synergy Group, and they had a presentation from the Trans-Canada Pipeline and the Nova Gas Transmission projects that are coming around, and how that benefits our area. Cole Thompson gave a great presentation, and I did ask that he talk to Kayla, because he says that he presents to councils as well, and how that impacts their town, like dollar-wise. They've got information, they can find out exactly how many dollars are spent in your town. So it was really, really, really cool information that he brought forward. And then May 8th, our committee of the whole. May 9th, I also attended the communications workshop. I thought there was huge value in having them come and give us great information on how we communicate amongst ourselves, amongst the men as well as our partners. And then today, the meeting that Councillor Bevan mentioned with Brandon All Head Public School Division.
Thank you. Councillor Sorensen.
Thank you. On May 2nd, I helped out at McHappy Day. 30 years ago, I worked at McDonald's, and now I get hired on as a counselor, and I get to go race back. May 8th, I went to the committee of the whole meeting. May 15th, today, GYPSD meeting. Thank you.
Councillor Curry.
On May 2nd, I also attended the steering committee meeting, and then also McHappy Day. And on the 3rd, went to the Community Engagement Action Team needle pickup that they'd asked us to come to, which was really fun to spend time with youth. On the 8th, had the Committee of the Whole. On the 9th, also the Communications Workshop, and I felt the same way. I thought it was really good information, and some stuff that we can really work on together as a team. And then today, GYPSD meeting right before this.
All right, thank you. Councillor Chenard.
Okay, May 2nd, McHappy Day. I also attended this energy meeting as town council for information. Very good meeting. May 8th, Committee of the Whole. I am going to mention the Medicine Lodge Rodeo, because as a councillor, I had to answer to 400 angry campers. Why isn't the Sandy dump open? So maybe just for in the future, we'll bear that in mind, because it's the first camp out of the year. On May 14th, I attended the PAC. It's the West Fraser communication. Everyone's been hearing about caribou in their wetlands. They're now making them monitor migratory birds, their nesting habitats, which is a challenge because they log in the winter time, and then they have to figure out where the birds nest. The other interesting thing, and I'm going to get them to come and do a presentation. I'll give you the abbreviation. I don't know the full name of it. They're encouraging the town to join the FRMA. So it is an organization that responds to recreation, and other towns around us are involved. So a lot of the campsite building and stuff. So I will let them bring a presentation. There is a huge benefit to the town by us joining the board. So I encourage them to get a hold of our town manager and come and see us, and it's very interesting. The other one is I also, earlier today, the GYPSD or P meeting, whatever it is, all those letters, I attend that meeting as well. So that's
All
it
right.
for my report.
Thank you, Councillor Chenard, and just to note, while you might have been questioned at an event, you were not there as a councillor,
Representing the
so
town of Edson, and
that's
they
not
let
to
me
be
know
included
it.
in your council reports. Thank you. April 30th, attended the AFPA and local forestry meeting with the AFPA and local forestry representatives. We talked about the CEO Derricott attended with me. Talked about the caribou issue, mountain pine beetle. They're having a huge issue right now getting their product to market due to lack of rail capacity. So if you look at our CN yard, you'll see a lot of materials there from our local mills, and it's really becoming a huge issue. Talked about employment. Both mills are hiring summer students that are from Edson this year, so that's wonderful to see. And we also received an invite to tour the West Fraser Mills, so administration will be working on some dates for council to tour that. I would like to thank Deputy Mayor Bevan for filling in for me on the council meeting the following day. I was ill, so that's why I wanted to include the April 30th meeting, as I didn't have a chance to provide an update last meeting. May 2nd, initial multiplex steering committee meeting, very good discussion there. May 6th, I was invited to hand out awards at the basketball tournament for the Boys and Girls Club National Youth Week event. Mayor Soroka and I handed out some awards. We also got to shoot at the hoop, and my ball went in, his did not. So that's Town of Edson 3, Yellowhead County 0. No, it was a really great event, and hats off to the Boys and Girls Club and all the volunteers that made all the events during the week happen. May 7th, CEO Derricott and I met with some residents and business owners on Landfill Road. Obviously, the CN rail crossing, major issue, and they also had a number of concerns about security at the landfill, and the administration will be bringing back a report to our next committee meeting. Committee of the Whole, May 8th, communications workshop on the 9th. It was an excellent workshop. Earlier today, I attended the Town Young at Heart's Seniors Conference at the Red Brick to bring greetings on behalf of the Town and Council. Only 30 attendees, but they were hoping for 100, but it was the first event of its kind. So, and we had seniors from Hinton, the former mayor of Grand Cache was there as well. So it was great to see some of our neighbors there. And then a great meeting with GYPSD today about areas of mutual interest, and look forward to our continued partnership with them. So, Councillor Bevan.
I have a question for you, Mayor. With the pine beetle and that, had a few residents ask me in town if they got some pine beetle in their yard, they figured on that. I've told them to get a hold of our administration at the town office. Do you have any information you can give them on that, on who they could use, or how they go about getting somebody to check out their trees and maybe remove them for them?
CEO Derricott.
Yes, certainly they could speak with Garnet in our Parks Department would probably be the most appropriate, and he can at minimum give them some guidance in terms of some resources that might be available to assist with dealing with that.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to financial. Can I get a motion, please, that the account listing be accepted for information?
I'll make it so.
Councillor Bevan, any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Questions from media and public regarding items from this council meeting? Mr. Moore.
Mr. Mayor. Yes, the rec complex, was it totally purged of all asbestos?
So with the recreation complex, they did do a cleanup of the asbestos. We had a number of users of the facility that needed to gain access to their items that they had in storage rooms and that sort of thing. I don't think we've been given the all clear by OHS yet. I don't know if CEO Derricott, if you can speak further to
Sure,
that.
thank you. We have not. We're waiting on the last stage that we anticipate is public health to give the final okay that the facility is safe. But just as an additional part to that, the building is not purged of all asbestos, and that is not the process that is typically done. Asbestos is only dangerous if it's airborne and it's in the area. Generally, if it is contained in the walls for insulation purposes, which is its main use, it is an inert or not a dangerous. And so the process is generally to seal any breaches to ensure that the asbestos is not in the air, and that is the process that has taken place at the rec complex.
So there is still asbestos in the building, it's just secured.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Additional question, a different subject. The RCA conference, could you run that by me again? What was the original motion and what was the new motion?
So the original motion was just to send Councillor Sorensen to the conference, as he is the representative on the Recycling Society. That would be the normal process. However, because we're engaged in recycling and curbside recycling and what that looks like, and because there's lots of changes happening in that industry, council had the discussion that it might be beneficial for more members of council to attend. So everybody has the same information, the same perspective. So the second motion was just to allow any councillors that are interested to attend. So and I think Councillor Chenard, he's attending with his company, so he'll be attending in that hat, and I don't know if Councillor Wilkinson will be.
I'm unavailable, sorry.
Yeah,
I've
so-
got a Montana
so-
exchange.
Well, it'll be open to all of council, but it's probably not likely every council member will attend. Any others? Adrian?
I have a number of them.
Okay.
First, with the recreation complex, if I understood that right, you're moving forward with the demolition, or are you just at this point discussing that with county?
So right now, we are asking the county to whether or not they support our plan of demolition this fall. So we'll give them the opportunity to provide feedback. We have briefed them on this issue, and we'll see what they have to say about that. And we've also talked with the curling club and the golf club on this matter as well. It's very clear the golf club was the only proponent, as you are aware, and they have no long-term interest in that building. Due to the demolition cost, it would be a huge liability for them, especially as they're trying to put themselves in a better financial position.
So, if you move forward with the demolition, then does that mean that a multi-use facility is a done deal? It's definitely going through because you've now told Curling Club.
Yeah, so we're very committed to a multi-use facility, as the county is planning as well. That's why we struck the steering committee. Obviously, curling is a high priority for that facility as well. And we're moving forward. From a town of Edson perspective, we would like shovels in the ground next year, and we're anticipating opening in 3 to 5 years.
So when was demolition then first discussed?
So we, as you are aware, the golf club was here a number of weeks ago, and so we discussed with them the RFP and had a frank discussion about that. And then we've engaged with the curling club, and then we have brought it here today for council resolution.
If I may also add to that, Mayor, if you'll recall from the fall when we discussed the potential sale of the rec complex, that both the Conrad report and the recent facility report listed demolition as probably the most judicious outcome for the building. So I think it's at least been on the radar, if you will, for quite some time.
Yes, and that's sort of where I was going with that. So how much did it cost to remediate?
The end costs end up being approximately $30,000, Bridget.
A bit higher.
A little more than between $30,000 and $40,000. Thank you.
And we also know we have some major issues with our fire suppression unit in that building.
So then why did we spend $30,000 to $40,000 to remediate a building we were planning to demolish?
That's a very good question, and I'll speak to this if I may. The reason is we have, there's a number of areas in the downstairs that have items belonging to other organizations. And until we actually did that remediation work, we would not be able to access that. As well as we wanted to make sure that we had all that asbestos that was airborne taken care of. And to allow the golf club as well, if they need access to the building this summer, that they would have that access. I don't know if there's anything else.
Thank you. All I would add to that is the town, we had several thousands of dollars worth of tables, chairs, other pieces of equipment that needed to be retrieved from the building, and that was the most effective way to accomplish that.
Sorry, I'm writing as fast as I can for Edson.
Just remember, you can go back and watch the live stream too, so.
I can. So then my next question goes on to something else. With the upgrades to the pumps in Tiffin, it's my understanding that your director of, or the engineering, Dalit, was here and presented his flow rates and everything. And from reviewing those, it looks like Tiffin is not the lowest pressure in town, so are there any plans to increase the pressure for residents on Grand Prairie Trail in the areas that are
Yeah.
actually
So we
consistently
had
seeing
I think a fairly robust discussion about this at the last committee of the whole meeting. The folks in those areas have always had low pressure, so this is not, if we were to increase pressure in those areas, that would be a higher level of service than what they've been used to. In Tiffin, they've always had higher pressure, so right now they're receiving a lower level of service. So obviously that is our biggest concern to address that right now, but we certainly see this as an opportunity to look at those other areas of town as well and see what we can do to address those concerns. Obviously there are much higher price tags associated with Grand Prairie Trail in the industrial area, which will take a little bit of a longer term plan in order to put that in place. So.
Okay. And one more, through the chair to Councillor Chouinard. Councillor Chouinard, at the last regular committee, or last regular council meeting on May 1st, you asked the same question regarding the lawyers. So I'm wondering if the concerns are ongoing or?
The concerns were ongoing. I was just questioning back why we were exploring options. Because we've used one law firm all along, and I was just questioning back why we're exploring options.
Right, which was the exact same question you asked on May 1st.
Still
Okay.
don't have the answer.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion please to move in camera? Councillor Wilkinson.
No, I can add Council Sorensen.
Okay, Councillor Sorensen.
It's just handy, I'm ready to go.
That was just a stretch, right?
No, well,
All those in favor?
Janet.
Towards the head.
That was goodwill, Jester.
All right, can I get a motion please for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Councillor Chouinard makes
can
that
see
motion.
myself.
All those in favor? Motion carried.
Good job, Steve. We're still